Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Speak English Podcast, the podcast where we help you speak English more naturally every single day. I'm Leo.
And I'm Sarah. Hello, everyone. So happy to be here again.
Today's topic is something very important for real English conversations. We're talking about direct and indirect English.
Oh, yes, this changes everything. Many English learners know grammar, know vocabulary, maybe even know difficult words, but sometimes they still sound too direct.
Exactly. And sometimes being too direct can sound cold, angry, rude, or too strong, even when you do not mean that.
Because in English, especially in daily conversation, people often speak indirectly.
Very true. We soften our words. We make requests gentler. We hide strong feelings a little. We suggest things carefully.
And today, we will show you how to do that naturally.
No difficult grammar rules, no stress, just real conversation. Simple examples in natural English.
And before we begin, please subscribe to Speak English Podcast. New episodes every week to help your English sound more real and more confident.
Okay, let's start with something simple. First, what is direct English?
Direct English means saying exactly what you want very clearly and strongly.
For example, close the window.
Very direct.
Or give me your phone.
Also direct, very strong.
Now, direct English is not always bad.
Right, sometimes it is useful. If there is danger, people speak directly.
Like stop or run.
Exactly. In emergencies, direct language is important.
Also, teachers, police officers, parents, and managers sometimes use direct language when giving instructions.
But in daily conversation, especially with strangers, coworkers, customers, or new friends, indirect English often sounds more polite.
So let's compare them.
Direct, open the door,
Indirect, could you open the door, please?
much softer.
Direct, I don't like your idea.
Indirect, I'm not sure this idea will work.
Same meaning, but very different feeling.
Indirect English helps people feel comfortable.
Comfortable, respected, relaxed.
And this is one reason native speakers use indirect language so often.
Okay, let's talk about the first common situation. Requests.
Ah, yes, this is where learners often sound too direct without knowing it.
Imagine you are at work. You say to your coworker, "Send me the report."
That sounds a little like an order.
Yes, not terrible, but strong.
Now listen to this. Could you send me the report when you have time?
Much nicer.
Or, would you mind sending me the report?
Very polite and natural.
And notice something important. Indirect English often uses extra words,
Yes, English speakers love softening phrases.
like maybe, a little, when you can, if possible, or I was wondering.
I was wondering if you could help me.
That sounds so polite.
Much softer than help me.
Exactly.
Now let's move to invitations.
Direct invitation, come to my party.
Indirect invitation. Would you like to come to my party?
Warm, friendly, welcoming.
Or, if you're free, we're having dinner tonight.
That sounds very natural.
Native speakers often make invitations indirect because they do not want to pressure people.
Pressure means making someone feel forced to do something.
Exactly. Indirect English gives people freedom.
Freedom to say yes or no comfortably.
Okay, another very important area, opinions.
Oh, yes. Direct opinions can sound too strong.
For example, this food is terrible.
Very direct, maybe even rude.
Now listen to this. This food is not really my favorite.
Much softer.
Or, I think it could use a little more flavor.
Very indirect.
And people often use indirect language when disagreeing.
Especially at work.
Imagine someone says, I think we should change the whole project.
And you disagree.
Direct answer, that's a bad idea.
Out. Very strong.
Indirect answer, I see your point, but maybe we should think about it more.
That sounds professional.
Professional and diplomatic.
Diplomatic means careful with words so people do not feel hurt or offended.
And indirect English is very diplomatic.
Now, here is something interesting. Native speakers are often indirect even when they are unhappy.
Very true.
For example, if someone says, "The room is a little cold," they may really mean, "Please close the window."
Exactly. This is reading between the lines.
Understanding the hidden meaning.
Another example, your friend says, "Wow, you're finally here."
The real meaning may be, "You are late."
Exactly.
Or your boss says, "It might be good to finish this today."
That probably means, "Please finish this today."
Immediately.
And this is why indirect English can sometimes confuse learners.
Because the real meaning is hidden inside polite language.
But once you understand the patterns, everything becomes easier.
Okay, let's talk about common indirect phrases.
Good idea.
Instead of, I disagree, people say, I'm not sure about that.
Instead of, you are wrong, people say, I see it a little differently.
Instead of, that won't work, people say, that might be difficult.
And instead of no, sometimes people say, I'll think about it.
Oh yes, very important.
Sometimes I'll think about it does not really mean thinking.
Sometimes it politely means no.
Exactly.
And maybe can also mean no.
Especially when someone says it slowly.
Maybe.
That often means probably not.
English can be very indirect sometimes.
Now let's look at another situation. Asking personal questions.
Direct question, how much money do you make?
Very direct, too personal for many situations.
Indirect version, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of work do you do?
Much safer.
Or instead of, why are you single?
Oh no, too direct.
You can say, are you seeing anyone these days?
Much more natural.
Indirect English helps people protect privacy.
Now let's talk about tone.
Very important.
Sometimes the words are polite, but the tone is not.
Exactly. You can say, could you move nicely?
Or angrily.
Same words, different feeling.
So indirect English is not only vocabulary.
It is also voice, facial expression, and attitude.
Now let's do a small role play.
Okay.
You are a customer in a coffee shop.
All right.
Direct customer. Give me coffee.
Very robotic.
Indirect customer. Could I get a coffee, please?
Much better.
Barista says, anything else?
Customer says, no.
Fine, but short.
More natural. No thanks, that's all.
Exactly. Small changes make a big difference.
Now let's talk about texting.
Oh, yes. Indirect English is very important in messages.
Direct text. Call me.
Strong. Indirect text. Can you call me when you're free?
Friendly and relaxed.
Or direct. Where are you?
Can sound angry.
Indirect. Hey, are you close?
Much softer.
Native speakers often soften text messages because there is no facial expression.
Very true. Without tone, direct messages can sound colder.
Now let's discuss work conversations.
One of the biggest places for indirect English.
Imagine your manager says, this report could be a little clearer.
That may really mean, please rewrite this.
Exactly.
Or, we may need to improve communication.
Meaning, people are not communicating well.
Indirect language protects relationships at work.
People want to sound respectful and professional.
Especially in meetings.
Now here is an important point. Not every culture uses indirect language the same way.
Very true.
Some cultures are naturally more direct.
Others are more indirect.
And sometimes learners feel confused because direct language in their language sounds normal, but in English it sounds too strong.
Exactly. This is not bad English. It is just a different communication style.
And once you learn indirect English, your conversations become smoother.
More natural and more comfortable.
Now, let's practice changing direct sentences into indirect ones.
Good exercise.
Direct, you're late.
Indirect, traffic was bad?
Very natural.
Or I was starting to worry.
Excellent.
Direct, clean the kitchen.
Indirect, could you clean the kitchen when you have a moment?
Perfect.
Direct, I don't understand.
Indirect, could you explain that one more time?
Much softer.
Direct, your music is too loud.
Indirect, would you mind turning the music down a little?
Very polite.
And notice the phrase a little.
Yes, native speakers use softening words constantly.
A bit, maybe, perhaps, kind of.
These small words make English sound less aggressive.
Now, let's talk about indirect answers.
This is very common.
Question, did you like the movie?
Direct answer, no.
Indirect answer, well, the actors were good.
Meaning maybe the movie was not great.
Exactly.
Question, was the food good?
Indirect answer, the dessert was nice.
Which probably means the rest was not amazing.
English speakers often avoid strong negative answers.
Especially in social situations.
Now here's something funny. Sometimes indirect English becomes too indirect.
Oh, yes.
One person says, "It's a little warm in here."
And the other person says, yes, it is.
But the real meaning was, "Please open the window."
Exactly. Sometimes people miss the hidden message.
Even native speakers.
Now, let's do one full, natural conversation using direct and indirect English.
Okay, two coworkers in an office.
Hey, Sarah, did you finish the report?
"I'm still working on it. Could I send it to you this afternoon?"
Sure, the manager was asking about it earlier.
"Oh, really?"
Yeah, he said it would be great to finish it today.
So basically, he wants it immediately.
Pretty much.
Okay, I'll finish it soon.
Thanks. And by the way, your presentation yesterday was really interesting.
Interesting good or interesting bad?
No, good interesting.
Because sometimes interesting sounds dangerous.
Very true. Can I ask you something?
Of course.
Would you mind speaking a little slower during meetings? Sometimes I miss a few details.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Thanks for telling me.
See? Very indirect, very polite.
And nobody feels attacked.
Exactly. That is the power of indirect English.
Before we finish, let's give everyone a few simple tips.
Tip number 1. Use polite questions instead of commands.
Could you help me? Instead of help me.
Tip number 2. Use softening words.
A little, maybe, perhaps, kind of.
Tip number 3. Listen for hidden meaning.
People do not always say exactly what they mean.
Tip number 4. Pay attention to tone and situation.
And tip number 5, practice every day.
The more indirect English you hear, the more natural it becomes.
And remember, direct English is not wrong.
Not at all.
You just need to know when to use direct language and when to soften your words.
Exactly. Good communication is balance.
Today, we learned about direct requests, indirect requests, soft opinions, hidden meanings, workplace English, texting, and polite conversation.
And now you can start sounding more natural immediately.
Before we go, if today's episode helped you, please subscribe to Speak English Podcast and share this episode with one friend learning English.
And leave us a comment. Which is easier for you, direct English or indirect English?
Thank you for listening, everyone.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep growing.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.